Team Toyota is leading the way with their new and pre-owned Toyotas right now. Their process is fast, easy, and it puts you in control the whole way. Just check out the reviews online. With locations in Langhorne, Glen Mills, and Princeton, visit teamtoyota.net and be safe, be strong, be a team. Hey folks, welcome to the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. I'm Corey Seidman, joined by Jim Salisbury as the Phils are making a little push here. Jim, where's your blue NBC Sports Philly shirt that I'm so used to seeing on this YouTube podcast?
Well, I changed it up a little bit today, Corey, but not by my own choice. I've been trying to get through the season wearing that thing every time we talk without washing it. And my wife finally intervened and threw it in the washer. She said I was offending all the podcast listeners and offending her. So it's in the laundry. So I'm rocking some black NBC Sports Philly golf shirt today. It makes me look slimmer, which is hard to do. And I have my Seattle Kraken hat on, which I love this hat. And, they got my favorite player now. They got Yanni Gourde from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's my favorite player in the league. I wish the Flyers could get him, but yeah. So we're off to a rolling start. Already off on one of my famous tangents.
Well, look, more on Yanni Gourde next week, but this week we're going to talk about the Phils who are making a push here in the NL East. They've won 2 in a row here against the Washington Nationals as the Mets have just stumbled out of the All-Star break. The Mets are 8-11 since the break, and now the Phillies are just 1.5 games back out of first place. It's the closest they've been to first since the end of May. So this is really, the opportunity that Dave Dombrowski took at the trade deadline to add some pieces. This is what he had in mind, and it's playing out as the Phillies now prepare to play the Mets this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said a million times, thank God it's just a bad division. It's a cast of uglies, and the Phillies are one of them. But somebody's got to win it. And somebody will win it. And Phillies are starting to play better. We've seen these spurts at times, but they're 1.5 games out, 2 left in Washington. And the Mets have 2 left down in Miami where they've lost 2 nights in a row. It's really a tough environment to play down there. There's like nobody in the ballpark. It's dead. The Mets have sort of responded that way. But really, like you mentioned, since the break, they haven't played well. So the Phillies got to keep pouring it on. Good signs the last few nights. In Washington, Ranger Suarez, dipped his toe back into the rotation, pitched well, promising. They'll boost him up on, I guess it's Saturday, and get him 60, 65 pitches. I like that move. I love that JT is starting to really swing it good. JT Realmuto. Looks like he's very confident. Sniffed out a hanging breaking ball last night, drove it over the wall in right center, did a great job staying back on that pitch. And it just told you how good his eyes are working, how good his hands are working, how good his timing is, and how confident he is. Had a big hit the night before. I think in the last 3 games, 9 hits and 7 RBIs. That's what you're waiting for, been waiting for. That's a great sign. Bryce Harper drives the ball over the wall last night. Proves to be a huge home run. The 249th of his career, I believe it was. And it was a huge one because it was the margin for victory. Zach Wheeler gave up some runs in the 7th and the 8th inning. But yeah, to win 3 in a row, 2 in a row down in Washington, 1.5 games out, first time since May 26th, with a great weekend looming here in Philadelphia. It's Wall of Fame weekend. They're going to honor Dave Montgomery. They're going to honor Roy Halladay. And on top of it all, on the field, a great showdown with the New York Mets, basically for first place in the NL East. But you cannot overlook these next 2 games in Washington, Chase Anderson and Aaron Nola. You got to go out and take them. Nationals showed some fight last night. They really did. Got that big home run late from Josh Bell. It's good to see them still fighting, even though, they've had a big fire sale down there. So the Phillies need to keep bringing it these next 2 nights.
Yeah, they need to win at least 3 out of 4 in this series. The Chase Anderson start is pretty much like going to be a toss-up because you don't know how much length you're going to get from him. You don't know how many non-core members of the bullpen are going to have to appear. but really finishing it out with a win in that NOLA game is crucial. We've talked all season too about how the Phillies haven't had multiple important pieces of their lineup hot at the same time. Right now, that's the case, though. You referenced JT, who has those 7 RBIs in the last 3 games, driven in 10 over the last week. Bryce Harper is hitting 360 since June 30th. He homered also on Tuesday night. He's really bringing it from every department. He's hitting for power. He has 21 extra base hits in his last 122 plate appearances. The Phillies also have Jon Segura, who continues to drive the bus at the top of the lineup. I mean, he took over the leadoff spot and hasn't relinquished it. And, he's another guy who's hit all season, been over 300. We've talked a lot about like the lesser pieces, the guys like, where would they be without Ronald Torreyes, for example? But really from a true standpoint, like Jon Segura has been an extreme catalyst for this team. He's doesn't have the highest on base percentage in the world, isn't going to rock like a 400 OBP like a Bryce Harper or an Andrew McCutchen when he's really hot. But Jon Segura, we've seen the best of him this year in terms of like the bat to ball skills.
Oh yeah. I mean, he carries those hands kind of low, and he's short and quick to the ball, almost like it's a paddle. And in this era of long swings and big launch, it's really, it's a testament to what still works in baseball. Short, quick to the ball, pick a strike, square it up. It will go over the wall when you catch it just right out in front a little bit, as he has shown with that leadoff home run last night in Washington. He killed that ball, 420 feet, just yanked it down the line. Big hit after big hit, big defensive play after big defensive play this year. I posed this question last night to Michael Barkan and Ricky Bowe on the pregame show under the category of where would they be without him. If I had to pick an MVP on this team, it would be either Jon Segura or Zach Wheeler. If I had to pick an MVP isolated just on position guys, I think I might go with Segura. Obviously hat tip to what Andrew McCutchen has done since June 1. Hat tip to Bryce Harper, what he's done since June 1. I mean, both are indispensable guys, and now they're being tested without McCutchen, who's on the IL with a sore knee, with inflammation in his knee. But night in and night out, Jon Segura has just been this dangerous hitter that you want on the plate, at the plate with the game on the line. So he'd be my MVP with 2 months to go here. He needs to continue it. He's never been in the postseason. He really wants to get there, and I don't think he's just given that lip service. And the narrative on Jon Segura has always been maybe he's not a winning player. He's bounced around from team to team, hasn't been in the postseason. Maybe there's a reason for it. This is his moment. The 2021 season has been his moment to this point, and these next 2 months can continue to be his moment to change that narrative. And frankly, he's doing a pretty good job of it.
Jim, we saw Jose Alvarado close out Tuesday night's game after Ian Kennedy, the new closer, had appeared back-to-back games Sunday and Monday. Kennedy threw, I think, 50 pitches in those 2 games. And in both of those games, Kennedy, did not look like, the best version you're going to see of Ian Kennedy. Gave up homers both nights. And really, that's been the problem with him, like in the closer's role. It's not that he walks anybody, and it's not that he gives up strings of singles. It's that he loves that fastball, and when he misses with it slightly, it can be hit a very long way. How do you think this is going to play out the back end of the Phillies bullpen? You have Kennedy now in the 9th inning, but with Ranger Suarez moving into the rotation, you're down a leverage reliever. And Jose Alvarado, despite getting that save Tuesday night, hasn't exactly been the most trustworthy lately in terms of putting so many guys on base. So who steps up in that setup role now?
I mean, there's a lot there. Jose Alvarado over the length of the season has not been trustworthy. And we talked about this all winter. There's a reason guys get traded. That's a smart front office down in Tampa Bay. I can see why they moved him. He doesn't throw enough strikes. And when he does that, he's not dependable. That said, Tuesday night in Washington, they're in a pinch. They don't have Kennedy. The bullpen was taxed the night before. He came out and he threw strikes. Every pitcher is a different guy when they throw strikes, especially this guy, because he can bring 100 miles per hour with movement. How do I think it's going to play out? Kennedy, more often than not, when he's available, is going to get the ball, and you're going to live and die with him as the closer. He's done a good job in that role last couple of years. this is probably his first taste of really doing it in the cauldron of a pennant race. He does like to live up in the zone with that fastball. That can be risky business, but he's had success with it for a while. Those type of guys have to have pinpoint command. Ranger is out at the back of the bullpen. He is in the rotation. It's a move I advocated for. We talked about for a long time as they pursued a closer, possibly Kimbrel. Ended up with Kennedy, and that gives them the opportunity to put Ranger in the rotation, a spot where he's always wanted to be, a spot where I think he can help you this next 2 months and even beyond next year and the year after. He's a young guy. He's groomed as a starter. He should be a starter. I think they had the confidence to make this move because Ranger, first of all, Ranger's mentality. He's kind of a, whatever, like Cliff Lee used to say, whatever, just give me the ball. He's kind of that guy, kind of shrug and just give me the ball. I want to go pitch. I'm not going to overthink things. And that's Ranger. He's got a resilient head. He's got a resilient arm. A big factor in that, I believe, was Archie Bradley's emergence since the end of June. Velocity, gotten healthy, gotten sound with his mechanics, gotten some pop back on his fastball. Most of all, has gotten some confidence, done a really good job. I think only one run in his last 13 innings or his last 13 outings, but basically one run since the end of June. Done a really good job there. So I think that gave Joe Girardi in the front office confidence that they could move Ranger out of the end of the game. Be down a high leverage guy because Archie is back to kind of pitching to his track record. So gives you Kennedy, gives you Bradley at the end, and now you're going to need Hector to pitch well, as he did the last couple of nights, very well. You're going to need Alvarado to throw strikes, and that's kind of the end of the bullpen there. Brogdon's on the injured list. Falter's out. So there's your back end of the bullpen there. Kinsler is gone. Coonrod is still recovering. He's on the IL. You're going to need big performances from Neris, Alvarado, Bradley, and Kennedy. And you're going to need innings from your starters so you don't overtax the bullpen, so you don't overexpose the bullpen. You need to keep them in the roles they belong in. And that's going to be a challenge because last year they played 60 games. Now this thing is over 100 games and guys are getting stretched and pitching more innings, big innings jumps. And you got to be cognizant of that in your starting rotation. So it's a really delicate balance. It's a challenge for Joe Girardi and his pitching coach. But it all starts with getting strikes and innings from your rotation and strikes from your late game bullpen. Strikes and attitude. I think hitters can sense when a reliever is not confident, when a reliever feels vulnerable. And if a reliever feels vulnerable, he's going to get his head ripped off. So go out there and try to light somebody up out of the bullpen. Go out there and attack hitters. Go out there and believe you're good and throw strikes and trust it. And if Alvarado can do that, Bradley can do that, Neris can do that, Kennedy can do that, they'll be better for it.
Well, it's pretty funny, the Bradley-Kennedy combination during the offseason and coming into the 2021 season, we talked so much about how the Phillies had added velocity at the back end of their bullpen. They were excited about that they added velocity, they added strikeouts, they added swing and miss. Now the 8th and 9th inning guys are guys who have like more pitchability than they have velocity. Bradley has 17 Ks in 31 innings. Ian Kennedy's about a strikeout per inning guy. But as long as you're able to spot those pitches, especially this time of year, Bradley is certainly earning his money. Over the last 6 weeks, and his velocity has crept up.
It has crept up. He is 97 the other night, but you make a really good point. Pitchability. We made the point earlier that in this era of launch and big swings, guys like Gene Segura still win ball games. Guys like Ronnie Torreyes still win ball games. They're up there looking with one objective, looking to hit the ball hard and get on first base. Sometimes if you catch it right, it goes over the wall, as we saw last night with Segura and Torreyes. Two guys, short, quick, barrel it up, not looking to loft it, not looking to hit home runs, but, oh, by the way, you get it just right, it goes over the wall. So sometimes the old methods still work. Short to the ball, quick swing, square it up, and pitchability, put it in good spots. Sometimes those old things still work in baseball, and they're working for the Phillies the last few nights.
Speaking of winning baseball, it looks like Cole Hamels is headed to the Dodgers. That report just came out as we were sitting down to do this podcast. Jon Heyman tweeting that the Dodgers are closing in on Cole Hamels. It made sense. We've been talking about the LA team, and also San Diego as potential destinations here in recent weeks. The Dodgers are without Clayton Kershaw, who's on the injured list. They lost Dustin May to the season. They needed some starting pitching help. I don't think a lot of casual baseball fans would think of them as needing pitching help, the Dodgers, but they did. And here in recent days, it just looked more and more like a long shot that Cole Hamels was going to come here based on how long it was going to take. Does any part of this surprise you?
None at all. The Phillies, they need to get Zach Eflin back healthy. They believe they're going to get Zach Eflin back healthy. If that is the case, they have 5 starters. Now I know something could happen and they could be down to 4 in a heartbeat, but they're not in a position where they can just flat out guarantee Cole Hamels a spot in the rotation when you're Wheeler, Nola, Eflin when healthy. Who am I missing? Ranger and Kyle Gibson. So you got 5 guys. It's hard to say you're guaranteed a spot in our rotation because it's hard to do that because suppose all these 5 guys just hit a roll and pitch great, right? So it's difficult to make that guarantee to him. He was going to need time to get ready. And the other thing is I just never really felt it because I don't see the Phillies as a team that's booking a parade route, if you know what I'm saying. And I think at Cole's age, where he is in his career, maybe this is it, the final 2 months of his career. Who knows? I think he'd like to pitch next year. He's going to use this as a showcase. But first and foremost, he wants a taste of October again. He wants to taste of winning again. He wants to try to win a ring again. And that's not a surefire guarantee in Philadelphia, where the Dodgers have a World Series championship team primed to repeat. The Padres, a World Series caliber team, primed to win possibly their first one. I thought those two were the best fits. I thought those two would appeal to him more just because of their winning readiness. And it doesn't surprise me in the least that he's going to head there.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that Cole Hamels Dodgers situation. The Phillies are actually going to see the Dodgers pretty soon. They have this series with the Nationals, followed by the huge one this weekend at home against the first place Mets. But it doesn't end there because then it's the Dodgers who, funny enough, are farther out of first place in their own division than the Phillies are right now. They've obviously been playing excellent baseball for much of the year.
Yeah, the Dodgers are a powerhouse. So what a homestand coming up. First place showdown with the Mets, and don't forget about the Braves. They're not out of it, and they're nipping right at both of these teams' heels. And they had a busy trade deadline, and they can certainly, as capable as anybody is making a run in this NL East. But after that Mets series, Zach Wheeler's going to pitch on Sunday. He's going to kind of try to put a punctuation mark on it on Sunday. Off day Monday, and then like you said, the Dodgers come in. And they're a great ball club. Now they have an agreement with Cole Hamels. I doubt he will be with them. He'll probably be, I would think, in Arizona or somewhere, getting ready to join that rotation, maybe getting some competitive innings at their minor league facility or something like that, though I don't know the official plan. But it's not like I doubt we're going to see him like we saw him come back with the Chicago Cubs, but we will see someone. It was just last Thursday that Max Scherzer was beating the Phillies for like the 3rd time this year and 14th time in his career. And then after that game in Citizens Bank Park, he gets traded to the Dodgers. He's right back here next week. And if he is supposed to make his Dodgers debut Wednesday night, tonight as we're taping this, and Dodgers have a couple off days. So if my math is right, he would pitch again next Wednesday night, right here in Citizens Bank Park. That is if if their rotation lines up the way it could. So he's been a Philly killer throughout his career. And just because he's left the NL East doesn't mean the Phillies aren't going to see him again. So not exactly a welcome sight knowing that he's coming into town, nor the Dodgers, who have a great team. But Phillies are in a good way right now. The last 3, if they can keep it up, and they can get good starting pitching, timely hitting, they can play with anybody in short spurts.
Yeah, the lucky Phillies. It looks like they're going to draw both Max Scherzer and Walker Buehler in that series, just based on the fact that the Dodgers have off days. Walker Buehler's been every bit as good this season as Zach Wheeler, so that could be a pretty challenging series. But hey, first things first, finishing this National Series, and then the Phils look to take care of business this weekend against the Mets. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. He's Jim Salisbury. I'm Corey Seidman. We might be talking next week about a first place team.